Hi, I'm Luke Perlberg. I'm a tour guide with the Pace University Welcome Center on the New York City campus, and this is 25 facts about me. So fact number one, my full name is actually Luke. It's not Lucas. A lot of people will call me Lucas, especially if they're upset with me or joking, but it's not. I don't care, it's just that's not my name. I am named after a movie character, not Luke Skywalker. I'm actually named after Cool Hand Luke, a Paul Newman movie about a prison break. And while we're on the subject of Star Wars, the line is, "No, I am your father," not "Luke, I am your..." So, you know, we can move on from that joke. Fact number two, I'm from Brielle, New Jersey, just 15 minutes away from Springsteen's hometown, and as you can see, no, we don't sound like that, but we can if we want to, alright? So, like... Fact number three, I was born in Santa Cruz, California, the surf capital of the world, and also it's mentioned in the Beach Boys Surfing USA, which I've always found really, really cool. Fact number four, I was born in Santa Cruz on January 1st, 2000, first day of the whole millennium, which is pretty cool. Fact number five, obligatorily, I do have to mention, because I talked about my birthday, that birthday does make me a Capricorn, even though I don't really care or believe any of that kind of stuff, but don't tell my coworkers that, but it also means that I was born in the year of the dragon. Fact number six, I have family on both US coasts, England, Canada, Scotland, Ireland presumably, though I'm not 100% sure on that, Australia, and New Zealand. A lot in New Zealand, actually. Even though I've never actually been outside the United States, unless you count Florida. Fact number seven. Speaking of Florida, I have never been to Disney. Never. Not even once. And that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. Fact number eight. Eighth grade. When I was in 8th grade, I flew over the handlebars of my bike going to the beach, and I scraped most of the skin off of the palm of my hand. Like, not like down to the bone or anything gross or weird, but like several layers of skin came off. And because I was dumb, I drew on my hand in pen, and it didn't wash off because it was pen. And I sort of tattooed myself. Yeah, there it is. Yep, I sort of tattooed myself right here. The skin just healed right over it, which was wild. Fact number 9. I met Jon Stewart in a local taco place in Red Bank, New Jersey that I go to all the time. He was in gym shorts and a sweatshirt, and I was standing waiting for my to-go order, and he came in and he was asking about soup specials, and then the woman was telling him what the soup specials were, and he says, "I'm not really much of a soup guy." And I was like, that is Jon Stewart. And we sat down and we actually talked for like an hour about all kinds of stuff. About Trevor Noah, you know, what he thinks of what he's doing with the show. He thinks that he's great. And we talked about acting, and we talked about his career and how he had been on Colbert the previous night. Like, I had just watched a video of him on Colbert, and a whole bunch of cool stuff. He's a really cool dude, which was cool to know. Fact number 10, I've been to 2 Broadway plays with Nathan Lane in them, and both times, all his co-stars, including like Andrew Garfield and people of that level, have come out to stage door, and he hasn't. And I'm not bitter about it at all. Fact 11, I am an acting major in the BA International and Performance Ensemble program at Pace, obviously at Pace, and I'm going into my junior year, and I absolutely love it. Fact 12. Last year in my major, segueing off the previous fact, we, in my major, collaboratively built 2 different shows over the course of about a half a year that then premiered and ran for a weekend at an off-Broadway venue. 13. The first movie I saw in theaters was Curious George, the animated movie, and the last one that I saw was Birds of Prey. 14. My favorite movie of all time is There Will Be Blood, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson and starring Daniel Day-Lewis, who is my favorite actor that isn't Tom Hanks. 15. My favorite book is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I do say it is 1 book. I know it's technically 3, but Tolkien never meant it to be 3. It was just too expensive at the time of publication to do a 1,000-page plus book. in one volume, so they split it up. He never liked that. So, one book. The Lord of the Rings is my favorite. Fact number 16, my favorite graphic novel is The Underwater Welder by Jeff Loeb. It's a really cool, like, spiritual mystery about a man who is sent off to work on an oil rig on the night that his wife is expecting their new baby. And it's about him confronting the ghost of his father, who he was very distant from and lost very young. And he's kind of trapped in this space-time Groundhog Day loop until he works with his problems, and it's really, really great. Fact number 17, I'm a massive DC Comics fan. My favorite comic character ever is and always will be Superman, though my favorite movie is The Dark Knight because it's simply the best one that there is. I like Marvel too, it's just DC will always take that top spot in my heart. Though I do have Marvel shoes. I've got like limited edition Marvel Vans that are cool. 18. My favorite song is a rotating roster. I can never really pick one, but if I had to try, I would say right now my favorite song is either Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles or Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters by Elton John. Side note, I've seen both Paul McCartney and Elton John in concert. Elton I've seen twice, actually. Saw him this past November. 19. My favorite show I've ever seen was Angels in America, the revival in 2018 on Broadway with Nathan Lane and Andrew Garfield and Lee Pace. It was absolutely amazing. But the show that I would recommend to people if they're in the city and they can only see one show is definitely Phantom of the Opera. I've seen it 3 times. I've loved it every time. There's a reason it's the longest running Broadway show. 20. Speaking of musicals, this year on my birthday, I dragged my girlfriend to go see Cats. The movie?
It's Cats time.
It's Cats time.
Wow. I feel like a changed person.
I feel like a jellicle cat.
What does that mean? She's convinced that that's why this year is the way that it is, and I'm sorry, but it was worth it. 21. The longest show I've ever seen is Gats by the company Elevator Repair Service. It's a devised version of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. The whole book is read, and it's 8 hours long. I mean, it's not 8 continuous hours. There's 2 15-minute intermissions within each of the 2 parts, with a dinner break in the middle. 8-hour day. Probably like 7-hour show. 22. I absolutely hate Halloween. I hate it. It's not a good time. It's not a fun time. It's my least favorite holiday of the entire year by miles. My favorite holiday is Hobbit Day because it gives me a legitimate reason to rewatch all of the Lord of the Rings movies in marathon. Though Christmas in the city is like nothing else. 23, winding down. My favorite thing I own is a lava lamp. It's over there, and his name is Joel. This here is Joel. Very good, Joel. 24, my favorite video game ever is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Came out in 2015. I didn't play it really until last December, but then I played it exclusively from December to March. It's like a 300-hour game, and I platinumed the whole thing. A very proud achievement of mine. Though 2018's God of War soft reboot comes in at a very close second. 25. Most importantly, I have a dog. His name is Pal. He's back home in Jersey. He is a 13-year-old Mastiff Lab Mutt, and I've had him since I was 7 years old. Alright, so that's it. That's almost all there is to know about me, but if you want to know more about me, then I guess come take a tour from the Welcome Center and maybe I'll be your tour guide. Anyway, bye. Thanks.